Good morning, everyone. It's Wednesday morning hop day, and the 30th of December, 2020. And if you recall a number of years ago, I mean, it's probably been over 25 years ago, maybe 30 years ago, there was a slogan um, passed around the churches and Christian circles. It's amazing how certain slogans catch hold and become very popular. And that slogan was WWJD, what would Jesus do? Remember that? It was on plaques. It's still around today. It was on plaques. It was on pins, on signs, on bumper stickers. What would Jesus do? Well, I like two other slogans that I've come up with that I like better than what would Jesus do. I like the two slogans, what did Jesus do? And what is Jesus going to do? What did Jesus do? And what is Jesus going to do? Not what would Jesus do. We have the historical count of what Jesus did, don't we, in the Bible? And there were many witnesses on the face of this earth while he traveled the dusty trails of this earth. There was many. We also have a record of what he's going to do. But first, let us briefly recount the historical things that Jesus did while he was down here. Let's tell his story, the history of Jesus. One, he came from the ivory palaces of heaven. He grew up as a carpenter's son. He ministered to the people. He did many mighty miracles. He healed the lady with the issue of blood. He raised Lazarus from the dead. He fed the 5,000 with a few fishes and barley loaves. He did many wondrous miracles. He healed the man with the palsy and said, "Take up thy bed and walk." And the man went leaping and walking and praising God. He was long suffering. He was merciful. He was kind. He loved the little children. He said, "Forbid them not to come unto me, for such is the kingdom of heaven." Many have denied the miracles of our Lord. Thomas Jefferson wrote a Bible and took all the miracles out. He didn't believe in Jesus. Don't call Thomas Jefferson a founding. He's not my founding father any more than George Washington is my founding father. Thomas Jefferson, the miracles of Christ. He also denied the virgin birth. What did Jesus do? Not what would Jesus do. What did Jesus do? He performed many mighty miracles. He turned water into wine. He told fishermen when they'd fished all night to cast their nets on the other side of the boat, and their nets became overloaded with fish. They couldn't even contain all the fish that they had caught. He calmed the winds and the seas. Even the winds and seas obeyed him when he said, "Peace, be still." But more importantly, of all of these things that Jesus did, the most important thing he did was he died upon the cruel and rugged cross. He freely laid his life down. He was wounded for our transgressions, he was bruised for our iniquities, and by his stripes we are healed. All we like sheep have gone astray, turned every one to his own way. The Lord laid upon him the iniquity of us all. That was a very important thing Jesus did, dying on the cruel and rugged cross, becoming our sin bearer, the perfect sacrifice, shedding his precious blood on Calvary. He went to the tomb, but he didn't stay in the tomb. Jesus came up out of the tomb. He raised from the dead. He ascended back to heaven. That's what Jesus did. That's what Jesus did for his people. Now, the next question is, what is Jesus going to do? The account is freely given to us in the Bible what Jesus is going to do. When he ascended back to heaven there and uh, in front of all of those witnesses, he said, "I will come again in like manner as you see me go." Jesus is coming back. And he's coming back as a victorious ruling king. He's ruling and reigning in heaven right now, seated at the right hand of God. And all of his saints, he's going to cause them to rise and come into the New Jerusalem. He's going to give them glorified bodies. He's going to grant them to sit down at the marriage supper of the Lamb. He's going to give them the praises that will last forever to honor and worship and extol his Son. That's what he's going to do. I'm looking for the magnificent things Jesus is going to do, but I also like to recount the story of Jesus and all the things he has already done for his people. May the good Lord be with you today in a special way is my prayer. God bless.